Hey guys, I'm Rand Younger, and another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film and sometimes TV. And I have with me a wonderful panel of guest critics. And since it's been so long, Ivy Lofberg, welcome back to the show.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you so much.
Has it been over a year since I've seen you?
I think so. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, anytime, anytime. And Erica A, welcome back.
Hi, Randy. Glad to be here. I know I'm back from my long disappearance, but here we are once again.
Yes, welcome back, welcome back. And last but not least, Mr. Philip Buckley. Welcome back, sir. It's been a while for you too, as well.
Yeah, hello.
We got a very random group and a very interesting assortment of films. We've got two Nicolas Cage films, one new, one old. We're going to review both and kind of sort of compare them and see how Cage's career has evolved since the older film to now. The first film is Renfield, and it is a bizarre horror comedy which focuses on Dracula, played by Nicolas Cage, and his hapless assistant Renfield, played by Nicholas Hoult. And the second film is from 1988, released in 1989, called Vampire's Kiss, also with Cage, who, under a very strange encounter, meets a vampire and is bitten and soon thinks he becomes one. And it's basically about his spiral downward into insanity, thinking he is now a creature of the night. Both films are really interesting, very well acted, and you guys know I love Nicolas Cage. I could talk about his career forever because he's done so much great stuff. But before we get into the Nicolas Cage talk, I just want to go around and see what we're watching this week. Ivy, since it's been a while for you, what are you watching these days?
Yeah. Well, speaking of horror comedy, I've been doing a lot of TV lately, and really like Ghosts a lot.
That's a
It's
great show.
on. Yeah, it's such a great show. And I really love how they take something that has been done for decades, and they put a modern spin on it of these ghosts who have been hanging around this estate for some of them for centuries, and they are all kind of put together. And I feel like it's one of those shows that could last quite a few seasons, because all of these characters put together can come up with so many different storylines. And now they kind of have access to the internet and TV, which is lots of mayhem. So it has a lot of great actors in it, and it's really refreshing take. And I think it's the comedy of it too is really fresh and interesting. So I've been loving that, and really loving the new season of the other two so much. I think it's really brilliant. It's on, I think, HBO. And so really getting into the new seasons on TV and really enjoying those.
Nice. How's the tone of Ghost? Could you compare it to another sitcom?
Yeah.
I thought it's really original. I would love to, okay,
Yeah.
how would you compare it? I would say it really is its own standout alone show.
Nice.
I agree. I really
Okay.
I think, like, it's not really like the Addams Family. It's not really like the Munsters. It's not really like What We Do in the Shadows.
I
It's
was going to say it's not really like What We Do in the Shadows or like Casper the Friendly Ghost was more. I was trying to think what you could, it's not really, but I would
That's a
say it
great
doesn't have
comparison, actually,
spin-off
Casper.
appeal. So I worry every year it's too intelligent that it might not get renewed. So when you're like, it could have many seasons, I'm like, no, it's a way too smart show. People, please watch it.
Agreed. Yes, watch it. Let it live. It's really it's
What's
a
crazy about that
wonderful
show too? It's on CBS. It's not like it's exclusively streaming show, which is like it's hard to find a good show that's on like
Yeah.
regular TV.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All the good shows seem to be streaming. It looks
hmm
like.
You can do
Yeah, and I
more.
really love it too, because you can like jump in, like, even if you haven't seen all the episodes, you can like get the lay of the land pretty quickly. and just enjoy it too on its own. You don't really have to follow like each there are some plots that keep going, but a lot of them, the stories are within the episodes and pretty easy to figure out. So I like that about it too.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna check it out. I always like to check out the pilot, and if I don't like it, I don't proceed pretty much.
No, skip the pilot. Come in on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the later episodes are better. I think
because it really builds on itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Pilots are tough. You ever watch like pilots of your favorite shows? It's unrecognizable to like.
That's true.
Love it.
Because I think Charles in Charge didn't really hit its stride until season 2. Yeah, if you know, and also Perfect Strangers. As you know, big 80s nerd. Anyway, Philip, what have you been watching these days?
I was just recently watching Love and Death with Elizabeth Olsen on HBO Max.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Actually, it was like I was like, this looks so familiar. I don't know why. And last year on Hulu, it was the same because it's based on a true story with Jessica Biel. It was the same. It's they did one on Hulu, and now they're doing with this. Okay. But I like Elizabeth Olsen, and I don't know his name. He's the guy from Breaking Bad. He kind of looks like a funny
Jesse Plemons.
That's it. Yes, he's great in it. He's just I don't know. I like him. I know he's funny to look at too, but he's great. He's a great actor. What's her name? Kristen Ritter's in there. I love her.
Yeah. Oh, this is the cast. Yeah, Jesse Plemons is fantastic.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I actually literally last night watched a movie called The Master. With Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It was so good, and Jesse Plemons plays Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Yeah,
and they look so much like it's scary.
He looks more like him even now. If you watch, because he's heavier in this show. That he looks a lot like Philip Seymour Hoffman, which is like not a bad thing because Philip Seymour Hoffman was a great actor.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love Jesse. So he did a movie last year as well called, I think it was called Windfall. It's still on Netflix if I'm not mistaken. It's like a weird dark comedy, but he always does a great job.
No, he's good. Yeah,
it's cool. So yeah, Love and Death with Elizabeth Olsen. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of hers. Like I respected what she did in the Marvel universe, but I don't know. I don't think she's that fantastic. Maybe prove me wrong, Philip. Maybe.
Oh, no, I enjoy her. Okay. I'm trying to think what I've seen. Again, her Marvel stuff is great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too much stuff outside of Marvel with her. This is like one of the first things I can think of right now. Oh, I saw Wind River with another Marvel. What's his name? Who just got ran over. Jeremy Renner.
Oh, Jeremy Renner. Yeah. Jeez.
That was a good movie too. But again, she's good, and she's cute, but she's good. I don't know. I haven't seen anything great from her.
Yeah, she just needs she needs a really good role outside of Marvel, I think, to really shine.
Sure, she's good in this. It's kind of a weird because they're again it's a true story, so she's playing a real person, but she plays a very I don't know how to put it. She's sort of like, I don't see the point of that. Like kind of like that kind of deal.
Okay.
I don't think she doesn't realize what she's doing is as terrible as it is.
Okay. I'll check it out.
She goes, yeah, go check it out. Yeah, it's not. They have 4 episodes out right now.
That's HBO Max.
HBO Max, yeah.
Nice.
I enjoyed that.
Cool. Erica A. Last but not least, what are you watching these days?
I pretty much am at the end of everything. I mean, Ghost is wrapping up, and Sanderson just ended. Marie Antoinette is ending. The show I was watching on HBO, I don't remember its name, and I can't ask you because even though I get every show's name wrong, I know you would. Yellow Jacket just ended. I was watching the show on NBC. What was that one called? I gave up on True Lies. That one is unwatchable. God. It is a horrible ripoff, and I regret that they ever did. I mean, the gimmick of bringing Tom Arnold on for one episode was enough to just wring your neck.
Is he playing the same character?
Yes.
Oh,
they even make the joke about the ice trays, and he says lines literally from the movie that he's saying that aren't about the plot, and it was like, okay.
I was so excited about this, but like optimistically nervous too, because the True Lies movie is amazing.
It's a classic.
I love it. It's my favorite action movie of all time.
So
And
they work for a government agency that isn't a government agency, a secret thing, and they just adjust. And the kids there are multiple random kids, and it's like, I wish they never did this, but
yeah,
yeah.
So
I
disappointed.
like the guy. I'm sorry.
you do okay.
The main guy. Well, I liked him. He was in Shameless, and
Yeah, he was in a bunch of things,
Reba.
and I know him, and I went, well, okay, I know him. Do I find him always this annoying? About 50-50.
Well,
But
he's
so
obnoxious humor.
So right now, I guess I'm mostly just counting down till Outlander, now that Sanditon ended.
Okay.
Sanditon ended on such a terrible note. They rushed the ending. I mean, yeah, when you move past the book, because it's Jane Austen's unfinished novel, you know it's gonna fall apart, but still.
I know you love your Outlander. That's for like
I
a
never
decade
seen it.
now.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I've seen like posters. I've seen it always recommend. I don't know why. I just never sat down and watched it.
It's a wild concept for sure.
And you have to be dedicated to watch it because you have to keep track of the two timelines.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Like she's from the future and past.
Well, she's from the past to present day.
Oh, okay. Wow.
She starts at World War II when she's aging. It goes through like multiple decades.
And she like
falls through a time portal.
No,
book?
This is a totally different book.
Oh, okay.
Sanditon is Jane Austen's last novel. I was saying that's what I was watching up till a week ago, but that ended.
Nice.
And I was so angry at the ending.
What season
and then, of
is
course, we
Outlander
talked about Ghost. I'm a huge Ghost fan too, and I've actually picked up So Help Me Todd, which comes on right after it.
That's really good.
And I'm not sure I love it. I love my good law dramas and my crime dramas and stuff. But I mean, like, I loved Suits, but this one just is not quite. I like Todd as a character. But I just feel like the development of everyone around him is missing something because the romance that's his ex, who could be his girlfriend, who it's clear they're going to try and force them back together, feels so forced.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, that sounds.
So did you ever pick up Yellow Jacket like we told you last year?
Oh, no, that's on my list of stuff. I might. What's the premise? There's a plane crash,
right?
And there's a group of girls who are like soccer players or something.
Yes, who got stuck, and they're on two timelines. So there's two casts. There's the teenage cast, and then there's the present day cast, who are a bunch of famous people you'd actually recognize who are like in their 50s.
And this is they just wrapped season 2.
Yes.
Okay, I'll probably get into
that. Is this with Christina Ricci?
Yes.
Okay, then I know again, it's definitely on my list that we want to watch.
Okay, because I remember when it ended last time, season 1, everyone in the group was like, we were discussing it for a long period of time. We tried to convince Randy. We're like, no, are you watching it yet?
Not yet, but I'm it's definitely on my list. Definitely.
I downloaded the episodes, but I didn't know it had to do with like a plane crash. So like, I was going on a plane. So like,
oh God!
Good.
Well, as long as you don't like charter a suspicious private plane, you.
No, there you go. It was
JetBlue. You should have just put on Con Air, Philip.
Con Air
or Passenger 57.
There you go.
Air Force One, Executive Decision, Turbulence. They're all 90s fun.
As long as you don't pick snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a plane. Yeah. Oh, classic.
But you know what? For me, honestly, last night I started watching Star Trek Picard.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's another friend to the show, Eric Godfrey, who's a big Trekkie, and he's been trying to get me to watch that for a while. And it was great seeing Patrick Stewart and the gang. You know, I love seeing them. They actually came into my building to where I worked as a concierge. They came in to promote the new season. And I saw Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker. I'm like, Commander Riker, and he like looked and smiled at me. So that was fun. I geeked out in that moment for sure.
Nice.
Also, I started watching Hunters. It's a little old. It came out a couple years ago. It's Al Pacino and a group of young people who were basically Nazi hunters in the 1970s.
Oh yeah.
It's good. It's really interesting and well acted, and I can't wait to see more of it. It's pretty good.
Is that Al Pacino's first TV role, or?
As far as I know, he might have done like some random stuff previously, but this is the first time I've seen him on a TV show for sure. Yeah, it's different. So that's called Hunters, and it's on Amazon Prime if you guys are curious. Also, I've been watching some random stuff. I got into Party Down again. It's been a few years, but I got back into it new season.
The new one, yeah. I didn't see it. You see the new season?
Yeah,
I love the new season so much. I feel like it's just that I think that show's always been really smart, but I think the new season, it's one of those shows that was really smart to reboot because it's really like they kind of deal with a lot of social issues. I feel like in a really funny way that's just never too heavy-handed and is really hilarious. And I'm so excited that show is back.
Just lighthearted fun. Kind of reminds me. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Arrested Development in there, that way, that the evolution, de-evolution, and now it's back, and you've got these really fun, likable characters, and you just want to see where they're going to go.
Well, Party Down, because all those guys that were on that show went on to be big names. They all did big things afterwards. Yeah. So the fact that they were able to do another season after all that, it's pretty impressive. They must have wanted to do it. So
dedication. I mean, they really love the material, so they're just going with it. And that's awesome. Also, I've dabbled with Succession, very popular show.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's very well acted, and the script is good. But I don't know. It's a little dull here and there. It's a lot of dialogue. So maybe I'll keep going now. I've only a few episodes in. There are a few seasons in.
Yeah, there are seasons and seasons.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to keep going with that one, but
that's definitely you can't jump into that one in the middle.
No. But that show is like they lay a lot of groundwork. It's like a lot of building. So when the ending comes, you're like, oh snap! Yeah. You're invested. So yeah, it gets kind of wordy, but it's a good show.
Yeah. Also been watching random clips of Johnny Carson and Rodney Dangerfield on my lunch breaks. But,
oh my god!
But Carson was great. He was definitely the king of late night. So I'm doing my homework, studying his style, and I love it. He was.
Did you ever see the clip with Dolly Parton and Johnny Carson?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Oh my god, he was like so sincere, so serious. He was like, couldn't even look at her. He was like, I would give about a year's salary to take one peek under there. And he says it. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Can you imagine that today? Oh my god.
I'm gonna definitely watch that later today.
Yeah, Dolly Parton, she's great. I love her.
Also something really special. A few weeks ago, I had the privilege of going to Lincoln Center, David Geffen Hall, to see John Williams perform live. They performed his scores, and Steven Spielberg was there. John Williams was there. A different conductor conducted the symphony, but it was just amazing hearing his music live. So that was amazing. That was very memorable. Also, Erica, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always.
Yes, I was excited. Yes. I was excited when I saw the links, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm scrolling through, and it's like, so they had their 30th anniversary reunion episode in plot, and they explained how they were going to write Trini out and Rita's back, and OMG. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I know you saw it too. Do you want to jump into it?
Did you see it, Randall?
I saw it last night. Thank God it was only under an hour.
Yeah, I said it's really quick, and if you want, just fast forward through some of the parts. But but do they look awful, or is it just?
No, like I said, this show, it's not good, but it's very enjoyable.
Yes, I mean, it upset me in the first scene where it's like, oh, the actress who's placed Trini can't be here. We have to explain that. Let's just obliterate her body. And I'm like, oh my god.
it wasn't even like a sweet. I mean, she did sacrifice herself for Billy, but it was like they blew her up. Like she was disintegrated.
The
Yeah.
blast, and you see yellow going out, and I'm like, and it's like, and then they go through this whole dramatic thing where they have this argument in front of Trini's daughter character, and it's like,
oh my
I,
God. Yeah,
like it's like
no.
it's like they've been doing this for like 30 years. You think their acting would have been a little bit better, but
So did
maybe
they?
the director intentionally made them be worse than ever.
So wait.
maybe it kind of goes hand in hand with Power Rangers.
So wait. So all of the Billy and Zach were the only like kind of remaining Power Ranger, or did they gloss
Oh,
over all the other like the 3 decades of other Power Rangers? I was a little.
No, that apart from them being frozen when they were captured, they just glossed over everything who wasn't a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger.
mm-hmm.
It was just I don't know. It just seems so unnecessary, but it was kind of cool to see Billy and Zach again, and Rocky and I forget the blonde girl. Yeah, it was pretty cool seeing them again.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
And Adam and
they couldn't.
Aisha show up,
I
and
don't know.
Yeah,
They're the ones, except for Kat. They were the ones in the Power Ranger movie, the original Power
yeah,
Ranger movie.
I
nice.
think she's in the second one though.
She is in the second one, yeah, because Kimberly was still Amy Jo Johnson was still the Pink Ranger in the first one.
Yeah,
In the second
I
one, it was
mean, the one regret is the big three didn't show up.
sure,
I
yeah.
I respect what they tried to do with this movie, but
I think
I would call it a special.
yeah,
yeah,
special.
yeah, TV
I think
special.
I think Billy, I forgot his name, David Yost.
Yeah,
Yo,
that sounds right.
I think he wrote this.
oh really?
Oh, okay, good for him then.
Yeah, it was considering what they had against. 2 Power Rangers passed away, and then one they couldn't use for legal reasons. Jason got in trouble in real life, and Amy Jo Johnson. I think she just didn't want to do it, so which is fine.
They had to write them out. They gave them a good explanation,
Yeah.
and I mean, some of the scenes were enjoyable, and the plot itself was just ridiculous enough that it's like you can't look away.
Yeah, it was kind of cool seeing them again. They definitely have aged. I mean, it's been 30 years,
Sure.
but it was cool.
They're all in their 50s now.
Yeah, they were like
I would believe they could be
40.
almost 60.
No, late 40s, early 50s.
That's funny. My favorite part, it was
Yeah.
just like it's so silly, but I don't know why I thought it was crazy. Like there's a scene where they're in Rita's castle, and like Billy gets up and she's like she's distracted, and then impales her in the back, stabs her in the back. I'm like, whoa, what the hell did that come from? Very
Well, it was more common sense. There was never any common sense in the original show, I feel like.
true.
It's like, okay, I'm holding the weapon. I'm not going to flip around in the air and wave it like this. I'm just going to do something.
Yeah,
Now,
they definitely did the stabbing in this one.
Ivy, were you a Power Rangers fan growing up?
No, but I'm enjoying hearing about it. Now I feel like I gotta check it out.
They invented this really horrible thing in the early 90s that was like half dubbed and half live action, and it's been 30 years, and here we are, and they brought as many of the original cast as they could back, and they all look really old and bloated or wrinkled, and it just looks so creepy.
I think
they look better than when I saw them in Comic-Con. If you go to any of the Comic-Cons, they're all there. You can see them, you can walk up to them. They look better in this than in real life.
Fair enough.
That's mean, but
so yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is on Netflix right now. And if you're nostalgic like we obviously are, I would say go check it out. Ivy, if you're curious, check it out.
Just stare.
Yeah. Because I remember as a kid, I would rush home. I think it was like 4:30 every weekday to tune in for Power Rangers. So yeah, that was a big thing.
I've definitely heard of them, but I haven't. I have to dive into them.
Probably just one of those things that probably shouldn't have worked as much as it did. It's such a it's stock footage from Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Japan. It's a stock footage from another show that they brought over and it blended with American like kids. It's like whatever.
It's the same footage decade after decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, episode after episode, it's the same thing. They re-edit it together and then they talk.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's the same thing. You need dinosaur power. It's the same thing for the last 30 years. And they just updated for this movie.
Whatever works, they keep doing it. Same thing with movies these days, blockbusters, Marvel. It's it's all cookie cutter, and it's sad.
It's funny.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we spent a lot of time on this already. Let's get into Renfield.
Renfield.
So, I mean, I thought Nicolas Cage was utterly ridiculous in this role. He was perfect. The makeup was great. He was hilarious. Uh, I thought Nicholas Hoult was also fantastic. He was perfect. And I actually really enjoyed Aquafina as the love interest slash police officer who's investigating the crimes here. And Ben Schwartz was pretty decent too. So you got all these great comedic actors, really fun horror comedy. And it's not a great film by any means, but it's a fun one. So Ivy, what were your thoughts on Renfield?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Randy, on the acting. I think the acting alone it's definitely worth seeing for those actors. And I really felt like I wish it like to me, Renfield didn't know what movie it was. Like, I feel like really good horror comedy, they just pick one theme and one storyline and they just follow it through. Like, I think just the theme of like him being going to codependent meetings and of narcissist, like, I feel like just that storyline was really funny. I feel like they just tried to do too much.
Yeah.
Like some scenes felt like they were suddenly in like a CSI drama. Other scenes felt like they were in, I mean, was really like a sad, weird storyline. I felt like that Aquafina's dad died and she's this cop trying to avenge, and like Nicolas Cage is trying to get involved with the mob. That never really goes anywhere. Like it felt like it broke kind of the rules of really good genre movies where you just pick one storyline and just trust it and trust that if you just go all the way, with a really great idea, you can have a really entertaining film. And I just felt like it tried to do way too much for what it was.
I think that lack of focus genre wise, I think this is perfect for maybe a cult following. I could definitely see that in the next couple of years. As with many Nicolas Cage movies that have a cult following. So yeah. Philip, what did you think of Renfield?
Oh, I love Nicolas Cage. I wish there was more Nicolas Cage in this movie. He's so ridiculous, but he's in a good way. Like, I don't know if anyone else could have pulled it off as well as him, because he's just so odd, I loved him. What's his name?
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult. He was great. Those two made this movie. The movie itself is okay. Aquafina was fine in it, but I just felt like her part of the movie I just didn't care that much about. I wanted to see more Nicolas Cage and Nicole's character. I just wanted to see more of that. And I just it just seemed like they put two movies together, and it's like and it still was only like, the movie was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, right? It was pretty short. Yeah,
it's short. It's a good. It's I don't want to say good, but I enjoyed a lot of it. Yeah. Nicolas Cage was great. I enjoyed it. Aquafina. Yeah. What's the other guy's name again for Parks and Recreation?
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz. He might have been over the top of Nicolas Cage in this movie. He was really good too, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool. Erica, what did you think?
Okay, I agree with everyone. At the same time, I disagree with everyone. First of all, because it was none of the genres you listed, but it did clearly fit one genre. It was your typical formula for your crime cop supernatural show. It was it was perfect if it had been a pilot for something like Lucifer or Sleepy Hollow or anything like that, where suddenly you have evil force that's off to the side. You have the cop who these days in the 21st century is usually the female with the dramatic family backstory. And then you have the guy who has the weird supernatural powers who might have a relationship with her or might not. I didn't see her as the love interest. I saw her as the possible future love interest. It really was missing that really strong vampire allure type feel. but it felt more like the cop crime drama. Like when you mentioned, what did you mention? CSI or NCIS? One of the letter shows.
One of those.
The CSI, yeah.
Yes.
I
Okay. Not quite that, but I saw a lot of that too. But that's what I felt. That it was like, it really felt like Sleepy Hollow, or it felt like Lucifer or something like that, where it was this guy who's going to help her solve crimes now that he helped solve the crime of his own life. Mm-hmm. And I loved Aquafina in the cop role. She really showed a new dimension that you usually don't see. Yeah. And I wasn't sure about Nicholas Holtz.
Holt, yeah.
I mean, I found that I wasn't sure if it was him or if it was the choreographer, but at times in the fight scenes, I saw way too much Beast. I felt like he was back in X-Men, and the arms were always raised and the legs were always up. There was never quite a vampire or a fight. Yeah. And so that always bothered me, every fight scene. And then the fight scenes were way, way too grody. Mm-hmm. It was like Quentin Tarantino would look at it and go, wow, that's a little intense.
It was very gory. It was a lot more gory than I thought it was. There's a
lot more gory than I hate icky. And I'm like, this isn't quite horror. This is just, oh my God, face. Oh my God, arms. And I'm like covering my eyes going, but thankfully I saw it in an almost empty movie theater. So no one much cared how freaked out I was.
Oh yeah, Erica, I forgot you're not big on gore, and I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I love an action thing, but the actual body parts freaked me out at times. So if you're squeamish, maybe be prepared to cover your eyes a lot.
I really like the character makeup, like the creature makeup.
Yes, the makeup and the hair and makeup and prosthetics were really brilliantly done. I know exactly.
Because without giving too much away, there are scenes where Dracula's appearance is like very grotesque and horrific. And it was just, that was really, really well done.
And also the editing in the black and white, that was really, I almost thought it was the original movie.
Where Nicolas Cage, he's doing sort of his best Bela Lugosi impression.
Yeah, and I actually, when I first thought they were editing Bela Lugosi in, and then I'm like, wow, that is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that was cool the way they did that, for sure.
And I also felt like with the gore, it was like, I felt like I was in like a blender. It felt like one scene was like a police procedural talking about like, well, you're not the only one who lost your father, and then the next scene is like a body's exploding. It's like, okay, where am I? Like I'm pretty cool. That's why I like Tarantino a lot too. It's like, you're just gonna, what you're in for. Like if you you're gonna see really intense gore. I agree too. It is more gory than anything that I've seen in Tarantino, but I also feel like I know what I'm in for, and just like how often it switched genres in like every scene. It was just, it kind of made me a little seasick.
Oh, that's funny. But I'm a fan of this movie. I want to see it again and see if there's anything I missed. But first impression, just a lot of fun, like really ridiculous. Yeah. So I think it's unanimous. I think we'd recommend this to people, right, Erica?
Should be on the radar, I'd say.
Oh yes, I agree. Philip?
Oh yeah, if it's not doing nothing, definitely. Still an hour and a half. Nicolas Cage as Dracula. What?
I mean, you can't go wrong. The marketing alone, you have all these posters of Nicolas Cage looking ridiculous as Dracula, so it's a lot of fun. Ivy, would you recommend this to people?
I would, yeah. I mean, just I think if you want to see Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult are really entertaining. So it's I also don't think it's overall a great movie, but I think they do an incredible job that's worth just enjoying it, and don't expect too much from it.
It would be really cool if Universal would do take all their classic monsters and kind of do something like this for each of them, like a mummy type, I don't know, spin-off. No, really.
I think if they try too hard at it, they'll fail, because their intention is they want to recreate something verbatim to what already happened.
Well, they tried. It was the dark.
universe.
Dark universe.
The Tom Cruise one.
Mummy failed, and
this
was supposed to be part of that. and it just never got off the ground. And
Huh.
then I forgot, someone took it up and it just made it to this.
Mhm.
So I forgot who originally was supposed to be a part of all this.
Hmm.
They just
Well,
canceled all that.
if
Yeah.
they,
Also,
yeah,
sorry.
No,
no,
yeah.
if they have a good filmmaker behind it, I think it could do very well, like Renfield. But it just depends. It really depends on all the cooks in the kitchen, who's pulling all the strings here. So we just need good filmmakers to give good stories. That's basically it. So I'm sorry, Ivy, you were gonna say something.
Oh no, sorry. I did really like the director did Tomorrow's War, which I thought was a great movie,
Mm.
and I think I always admire filmmakers who take on ambitious projects. I like that Renfield wasn't boring. Like it was
Mhm.
it's a wild movie, but it's not dull, and I really admire that he took on a kind of a huge idea and a huge project of that was ambitious. And I would prefer like this version of Renfield than someone who was like, I want to really just play it safe, and which I feel like we get a lot in where they nowadays where they're trying to play it so safe that it's really boring. I'd rather have kind of a hot mess that's has a lot of fun things to watch. And so I respect his vision. He's an ambitious director, I think.
And so his name is Chris McKay, and he actually did the Lego Batman movie.
Really? I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting career so far, because that was a really fun movie. That was a very smart, funny Batman film, even though it was Lego. But he did a great job with that. So yeah, I haven't seen the Tomorrow War. That's Chris Pratt, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I seen that. That was good.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'll definitely
Did,
check it out too.
did you get anybody else get Dracula Dead and Loving It vibes?
Sometimes, not so
Little bit.
much.
It's funny
Occasionally,
because
but
you
as I
mentioned the
said,
gore. The one in
yeah,
Dracula Dead and Loving It, when he keeps staking the girl and the pool of blood keeps flowing
yes.
out. That made me more nauseous than anything in this movie.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
I don't know why. Because I rewatched it. I'm like, I'm like, stop
I
Hilarious.
with
mean
the blood.
that's just like you don't see the body part itself. It's just the blood splashing,
Yeah,
and that
I know.
that's just liquid. You don't
I
see it
think
where it's coming
it's
from.
like the imagination thing. I guess I don't
Okay.
know.
I
It's
mean,
really
And
gross.
Mel Brooks's character standing there going, she's almost dead.
Almost.
She's
I'd
dead enough.
dead enough.
I I think honestly, I would compare this more to Vampire in Brooklyn.
I would
That's a
too.
good one. That's another
Yeah.
great one.
And while we're
That's
on the
a great
topic
one.
of classic vampire movies, there's one that I revisited just for the sake of this episode. It's called Innocent Blood. I don't know if you guys know about that one.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Directed by John Landis, and it is about a French vampire. She comes to Pittsburgh and decides to feed on evildoers, basically mobsters in Pittsburgh, the mafia. And she turns Robert Loggia, who plays like the head of the mob, into a vampire, and then he decides to create an army of mafia vampires himself. And it's a wacky, crazy horror comedy, 1992. I highly recommend it if you want like some dumb fun, and it's just a really ridiculous vampire movie. It's so John Landis, he did American Werewolf in London.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh, you
he
directed this?
he directed the Thriller music video, so he's good with horror, and I think he uses the same makeup effects people. So it's called Innocent Blood. I recommend it highly.
Nice.
So, yeah. All right, and I want to get to our retro review. So we just did a new Nicolas Cage movie, a vampire movie. But I want to get into our second review, which is Vampire's Kiss. And we'll get to that right after this quick commercial break. So stay tuned, guys, right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show, Brand Young Under the Radar. And we are going to do our second review of the day. This is Vampire's Kiss, 1988. And it is ridiculous. I still don't even really know if it was really a vampire in the movie or if he's just hallucinating, right? He's just like,
it's going crazy.
Yeah, he's just losing it, and he thinks he's become a vampire. He even goes to a hobby shop to buy fake vampire fangs, and the store owner shows him, I think they're fiberglass, like actual like real like movie grade fangs, and he's like, oh, how about those? Do you have a cheaper version? And he basically gets like the cheap wax ones that you got as a kid, and it's just running around Manhattan as a pseudo vampire.
I'm a vampire.
I'm a vampire.
I'm a vampire.
And as he's losing his mind, he's also a real jerk at the office. He's a literary agent, and he treats his, I guess you could sort of call her a Renfield. I don't know, but
she's an assistant. He treats her like a Renfield, but she's not.
Right. But it's Maria Conchito Alonso. And he is just awful to her, and sort of like it's more like Scrooge and Marley, I'd say.
Ava,
yeah.
Ava,
am I getting through to you, Ava?
the scene where he jumps on the desk, goes, there you are, and then chases her into the women's bathroom. I was like, what is this movie? Oh my god!
This movie is ridiculous. I love it. It's an early Cage performance. He's in his 20s here. I think he did this right after Moonstruck, so he was becoming very popular around this time. And
old choice.
It's very
the Moonstruck than this.
Yeah, and I think he almost didn't get the part. He had to like really fight hard for it. Ivy, I know you sent us an article. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but maybe you can distill that article a little bit. What was like the making of this movie like?
Oh, just like the craziness that you see on screen definitely was a lot of craziness behind the scenes. Like there was a story where Nicolas Cage he was so upset that they had a mechanical bat that he like sent his assistant into Central Park with a water cooler and like a net to try to catch real bats. And I think that pretty much sums up all the.
Oh, and I believe Nicolas Cage actually ate a cockroach.
Yeah,
that was real. That's insane. Really, that's total method, right?
Oh my god! Didn't he catch a bird? I hope he didn't eat that. He catches the bird in this movie.
I think he would have. They probably wouldn't let him.
You want me to do it? Do it.
Oh my god! My favorite is that he transformed. He flipped over his couch to make it like a coffin.
I'm a vampire, and he's walking the streets with a stake.
Yeah,
I heard that was real. I read that was real, like because they were just filming, and these are real people walking. And he's just going to be able to stake me. I'm a vampire. Like, oh.
You want to kill me? Kill me.
I feel like this is the most Nicolas Cage movie ever.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god,
they just like do whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious what you look like with all the safeties off.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. And I also feel like this movie, like there are little things about it that remind me of American Psycho, of just like a satire. It feels like of a lot of different ideas, of just like this like over the top, crazy, violent boss that kind of nobody really seems to do anything about, and just like is kind of having a total mental breakdown, and no one's really noticing that much.
That's great because it also ends like, wait, was that real or not? I don't understand. Yeah. that's a great comparison. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. It totally does. American Psycho has so explaining to do.
Very similar. They're basically the same character. Peter Lowe. And I forget Bateman. What's the
Patrick Bateman?
Patrick. Yeah. Kind of these like yuppies, like male chauvinists. They go out to bars and they pick up women and they treat women crap. And
American Psycho takes place during the actual time where
Huh.
Vampire Kiss took place. Am I wrong? It's supposed to be, both be like 80s New
80s
York,
Manhattan. Yeah.
Manhattan, right? So
Oh my God, I would love to see a crossover between that.
imagine
Well,
being
you
in
were
like
a little late.
I
Did
know.
they go
Yeah.
out together on the town?
Yeah.
just almost man and Nicolas Cage runs by, oh, the vampire. Like,
And
Also,
also,
like living in New York, like
yeah.
it's so accurate too. I love that about it so much. Like you just see crazy stuff in New York, and it's just like that could. I feel like that could happen today.
especially like the
If you
80s.
if
No,
you
Nicolas
moved
maybe
Cage
not
out.
walking around
today,
like that
but
was probably the least weirdest thing.
Yeah, they're like,
You,
okay.
you think a remake is possible of Vampire's Kiss?
I mean, it would never be anywhere. Like, how can you duplicate this?
No, you're right.
It's all Nicolas Cage. You can try, you fail.
Yeah. And also, this movie has also spawned a number of memes, like of Cage's craziness, just his facial expressions, his body movements, everything about his performance is insane.
Yeah. Well, he does that face a few times in movies. I
Yeah.
like in Face Off, he does that
Oh, yeah.
face, and then it's like it's one of his faces, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like I guess I feel like he threw everything he had out there, and then other directors was like, well, I can use this part of you, just like I just want this part of you, and I can use this part, and I'm gonna make Leaving Las Vegas with that, and Face Off and Con Air with this stuff.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was kind of because like that movie's like, is he actually insane? I don't. And then when you see Renfield, because I watched that, then Renfield seems so contained, and he's playing Dracula.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's such a great point. Like it is such a great. I love that you asked us to watch them both together because it really does show that he is really obviously insane in Vampire's Kiss. Because you're so right. Like the actual Dracula, he's
Yeah.
like he's crazy, but he's crazy in a way that Dracula is insane, and he's a monster. So there's like a groundedness I feel like to Dracula's to that Renfield's performance. It feels really rooted in Dracula, where it feels like Vampire's Kiss is like that's a person having a total mental breakdown.
Yeah, I think these are the only two Nicolas Cage movies where he plays a vampire or a pseudo vampire.
Yeah,
as far as I know, that's why I picked it. But I'm glad I did.
I am dying to hear what Erica has to say.
Yeah,
yes, because I
she's
have,
been shaking
every
her
time
head
I
like,
try
wow,
to
the head
talk, I'm like,
shake.
I'm
so wait,
sorry,
no,
I'm sorry.
because I'm like, I hear you guys, and I'm like, but this is a piece of shit.
You're not wrong. You're not.
I mean,
This is
that's the great
just
part about this
Nicolas
movie.
Cage
You're not
at
wrong.
his worst. There are so many better Nicolas Cage movies. There are so many better vampire movies. Give me that crazy one with Jim Carrey from the 80s over this any day.
Once Bitten.
First Bitten?
Yes.
That was good.
Good one.
I like that.
Now that is a great movie. I mean, this one I'm like, great. This is like the most overly exposed Nicolas Cage, and I'm like, yeah, because they actually did a thing right after he was out promoting it about Nicolas Cage movies, where it was this poll on MSN about all kinds of crazy things, and it's like, yeah, he ate the cockroach, and he actually regrets that because that was like one of the questions on there. And then I'm sitting through this movie, and I'm like, God, this is like pathetic. Give me 9 to 5, or give me even like, and I'm like, any movie over this. And then I'm like, oh, and there are so many better vampire things. I mean, yeah, I'm more Underworld than than a present day vampire movie. Of course, I do love Dracula Den Living, but I'm like, he never even makes a move on her. He's just being annoying. And it's like, did the director do this where it was like he was out of control, or was it they were forcing these performances out of him? And I wish I got a little more of her and her brother plot out of it.
Oh,
because they come in, and then it's like, but I would want to know a little more about it and the whole two sides, good versus evil. Maybe a little more like Fright Night.
Oh, Fright Night.
It's too late.
I think, Erica, you bring up a really good question, a really good point, though. Like, is Vampire's Kiss a vampire movie? Like, in the sense that he's not a vampire.
It's a very deceiving title.
Yeah.
And they don't really. Was Jessica Biel Jessica Biel's? Was she a vampire in this movie? Because they
I
go to the
don't
scene where
know.
afterwards she's like this, and then they drag him away. But then her and her boyfriend kind of like giggling a little bit. Like, was it all in his head, or I don't know.
It's never really addressed head on. Like, was it real? I don't think it was. I think it was all in his head. It was all in
I
Peter's
think
head.
it was too, because
That's what I think.
we really get to see that more in the scene where he's pretending he's at the shrink, when he's really just wandering, having discussions with his reflection.
Yeah.
That's what. So he's having that whole conversation to the wall with his
Yeah.
shrink, and I'm like, wait, was the shrink ever real? But I guess it was. I don't.
Yeah, I think
You
she
gotta
was.
make me confused that she was, but not that part, I guess.
A, B, C,
See,
D.
what could be easier than filing? It's like,
That's very good. You
I
know
never
your
spelled
alphabet.
anything ever.
How can something get misfiled? Oh,
Who misfiled? I don't know.
oh my God. So Ivy,
Accent.
I don't think we've ever discussed Nicolas Cage movies together, but what would you say?
I have like a half dozen or more with you.
Oh, I know you have, but Ivy, would you say you have a top three Nicolas Cage performances?
Yeah, I would say number one would be Raising Arizona, and number two would be Face Off, and
No.
I think number three would I think maybe be Leaving Las Vegas, just because he showed,
Yeah, that's a good one.
what he's capable of as a dramatic actor, and he's like, I can pull this out and I can do this. And I love that about him, that he can show that he can, be an incredible dramatic performer, but he kind of chooses to be. I also love Con Air so much. It's interesting. I'd love to hear what you think, Randy, about the string kind of movies he did. Or I also one of my favorite recent one was The Unbearable Weight of
Massive Talent.
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
enjoyed
think
that.
that's up there, is a top one too, because I feel like he talks to the crazy Nicolas Cage. I think it's like him kind of taking on a lot of the criticism about him in such a funny, creative way. I think that's probably up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His choices throughout the 90s especially were really great. He won an Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas in 95. And then a year after that, 1996, he did actually my favorite Nicolas Cage movie. It's not a great artistic movie in any sense, but The Rock.
That's a great one.
I love it. I love it. It's so much fun. Him
So
and
Michael Bay.
yeah, it's an early Michael Bay before he went crazy with Pearl Harbor and Transformers, when he was actually putting out good movies. That's a fun one. There's another one from 1994 he did called Trapped in Paradise, where he plays, it's him, Dana Carvey, and John Lovitz. They played brothers, and Lovitz and Carvey are like, basically they're career criminals, and they just like they're kleptomaniacs. But Nicolas Cage is trying to go straight and be like a regular productive citizen, but he gets sucked into their crime underworld, and they go into this small town, and it's a bizarre comedy. I love it. Also Bringing Out the Dead, that was very good, where he played an EMT driver or EMS driver in New York City, and basically he encounters like the worst of the worst, and just really, it's a very bleak look at life in New York City, and he's just caught in the middle of it. But I love pretty much all of his work. His most recent work that I loved was Pig, which was
Heard about that. Wanted to see it.
excellent performance too. He plays a truffle hunter. I think those are like mushrooms, and basically he has a pig to help him hunt in the forest. Someone kidnaps the pig, and basically he spends the entire movie trying to figure out who kidnapped his beloved pig. All of his performances are so out there. Guarding Tess is another fun one from the 90s, where he plays a Secret Service agent to Shirley MacLaine. And yeah, I mean, I could go on, but Philip, what would you say? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna ask you. Sorry, I got a little off track myself. About, I know he did like a big hunk of movies that seemed like he was just kind of paying some divorce settlement,
Well, he got
bills.
in.
Like it just like so many bombs.
Oh
And
yeah.
what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, so he kind of had like a downturn in the 2010s. Yeah, where he would pretty much make like at least 5 movies a year, most of which were like direct to video type situations. In that period, I think that was like kind of like right after National Treasure and the
Yeah.
sequel. After National Treasure 2, I think is when he kind of went downhill and did some,
He got in financial trouble.
yeah, it was just a paycheck for him.
Yeah, well, did you hear all the stuff he would buy? He would spend like $5 million on something ridiculous. He bought all these things, and he got upside down and he went bankrupt. So then he had to do all these crazy. But he just last year or year before, he's okay now. He's back on the swing. That's why he's making better. I mean, Renfield's his first big studio film in a decade.
Right. Yeah,
already starting.
Yeah. So good for him.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Philip, do you have a top 10, top 3?
Top 3. Oh, my 3. I love Face Off.
Yeah.
Like, who's crazier than Nicolas Cage? John Travolta. I love Face Off so much. Con Air is such a ridiculous. And you know something? Again, like, he's not, of all the people in that movie, he's probably like one of the more normal ones in that movie.
Oh yeah, he is. Steve
like,
Buscemi is insane. Danny Trejo, John Malkovich, they're all nuts.
I'm sorry. That stuff. What I like. I forgot what else I like with him. Was it Con Air? No one said Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. No, Raising Arizona is hilarious. But again, it's like he's over the top of that too. But it's like, I don't know. Everyone is in that movie. What isn't that? Coen Brothers?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love those guys.
And
you know what? I'm lying to you. My other favorite Nicolas Cage movie is Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, I forgot about that one. That's a fun one.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie.
That's right.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, with Face Off, I think that was probably my favorite time he was a villain. Like the first 10, 15 minutes where he's Castor Troy, like his actual face with Nicolas Cage's face. I think he was perfect. I think he was a better villain than John Travolta's version.
And the priest, he's like,
yeah.
And he grabs the girl's butt. Like, I can eat a peach for hours.
Yes.
That movie's great.
It really is amazing.
The John Woo movie and dubs out of nowhere. What the heck?
I love it. Erica, last but not least, do you have a top 3 for Mr. Cage?
Yeah, I actually think I'd have a top 5, but 3, I guess. Honeymoon in Vegas, Leaving Las Vegas, and then maybe a toss up between like Face Off and The Rock.
Nice choices.
Honeymoon in Vegas. I forgot about that. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Honeymoon in Vegas. No one ever remembers that one.
I forgot about that. Jessica,
where he skydives with the Elvis.
Yes, it's the Elvis at the end.
Yeah. He doesn't know which cord to pull. He's like,
yeah,
one of the red one.
And they won't tell him. Yeah. But I mean, I also love him like in Kick-Ass and.
That's like, I think that before, because that was during his when he was in bad. But he's great in that movie. Kick-Ass, he's great. He's doing like Adam West the whole movie.
Yeah. But I mean, they're all great in Kick-Ass. It just was such an original idea, and it's like honorable mention goes to Kick-Ass. It ain't his movie, but
just Kick-Ass.
Good choices, guys.
Did you all see the recent interview? I think it's 60 Minutes or 20, where they do a tour of his house, Nicolas Cage's house. If you haven't seen it, just do like Nicolas Cage house tour. And his house is so it's as crazy as you can imagine. It's so much fun. It's his Las Vegas mansion, and it's like a wild ride. It's like everything you want it to be.
I saw back in his heyday, he paid like $6 million for a T-Rex head skull, an actual T-Rex fossil.
Also another insane performance in Mandy. I think that was sort of that was part of his comeback into mainstream. Yeah. Crazy scene in a bathroom where he just like lets loose and just screams and smashes things, and he's insane. I love him. I love Cage. So guys,
I
we
saw
have
one. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No.
No, I saw one recently. It's on HBO Max. What he did with Amber Heard, where he comes out of hell to save his daughter, his granddaughter.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
Drive Crazy,
Drive Crazy, which is over the top. It's on the same vein of like a Ghost Rider, but it's Nicolas Cage. That was a fun
Yeah.
movie. Not good, but fun.
And another random one from 1990 called Firebirds, where he plays I think it's an Air Force helicopter pilot with Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, it's pretty good.
that one sort of blends in with a lot of the others though,
It
so
does.
I can understand why you forget it.
Yeah. And also, I watched for the first time recently. I'm ashamed it took me so long. Wild at Heart, which another
Oh,
yeah, great performance by him and Laura Dern, and that was a David Lynch film, so pretty good. So, guys, we just have a few minutes left, and I just wanted to. What did I want to do here? Oh yeah, I want to do coming attractions, so stuff that's coming out the week that this episode's airing. So we have a bunch here, starting with May 15th. Oh, appropriate enough, The Evil of Dracula, which that's interesting. Okay, we got it's a horror, obviously a horror film. We also have Land of Gold, which is a drama. Patterns of Evidence, Journey to Mount Sinai 2. And then May 16th, we have Assassin Club, action thriller, with Henry Golding, who I believe he was in Crazy Rich Asians, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken there. Anyway, May 17th, Butterfly Vision, drama. Eric Clapton, Across 24 Nights. It's like a music documentary. And then May 9th is a big day. We've got Fast X, the latest Fast and the Furious. Personally, not a huge fan of the franchise. I don't know about you guys, but
I like it.
okay.
If it's on, I'll watch.
Yeah. So what else we got? We got an adventure comedy called Asterix and Obelix, a thriller with Joel Egerton called Master Gardener. Then we have a drama called Sanctuary, a documentary called It's Quieter in the Twilight, an action film with Dolph Lundgren called Come Out Fighting,
Nice.
a romantic drama called On Our Way, and let's see, I think that's about it. Oh, and also on May 20th is a documentary called Love to Love You, Donna Summer. So a lot of stuff coming our way. So, all right, guys. So, I just want to go around and see if you guys have any plugs, any projects you're working on, anything you want to promote. Erica, how about you?
Oh, nothing right now. I just finished a big project and I've now got a calm lull. So it's good to be back here.
Cool. All right. Ivy, anything on the horizon for you?
I'm working on a book project actually about the orphan archetype in film and television. And so that's a really big project I've been working on. It'll be out in a bit, but you can find me. My site is Film Remedy, and just has my reviews and all that jazz on there.
Fun stuff. And Mr. Buckley, how about you, sir?
No.
Nothing.
If you call, I'll come.
All right. Fair.
I work at UPS. I pick things up.
Good man.
I like movies.
Cool. And guys, I just want to mention that most recently, about a month ago, I started contributing movie reviews to a live radio show, Good Morning Amigo, on Slam Radio XM through Sirius XM. And that's every Thursday morning at 8:40 a.m. Eastern. You can hear my reviews. Basically, it's going to be one new release and one old release, like what we did here today. So I like to have that nice contrast between both. Also, you can catch new episodes of Under the Radar, the web series, on Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and also through cable TV channels Fios 34, RCN Astound 83, and Spectrum 56 and 1996. Also, feel free to subscribe and share the Under the Radar YouTube channel. Love to hear from you guys. So, Ivy, Erica, Philip, thank you. This was amazing. Another great episode. It's good to see some familiar faces from the past, and you guys are always welcome to appear. So it's always a pleasure. So, guys, I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.